Hi there, this is Ruben from Dutch Round 1. Thanks again for coming by. Thanks for watching another episode. I appreciate your time and I appreciate your support. Today, what are we going to do? Well, today we will take a look at the conditional in Dutch, the conditional tense in Dutch. So how do we form it? When do we use it? But before we do all that, remember to give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you want more content, and let me know in the comments if this grammar lesson was useful for you. But without much further ado, let's go straight for the grammar. Alright, so first of all, when do we use the conditional tense in Dutch? We use the conditional tense in Dutch to refer to hypothetical situations. So say situations which can or will happen, but it's not 100% sure. And most of the time we talk about conditions, alright? So we will see the conditional in the present, we will see the conditional in the past, we will see the conditional when it means supposed to, and when it means should or ought to, or we also use the conditional if we want to sound more polite in Dutch. So we'll focus on these 5 pieces of grammar, but we'll start off with the most used form, and that is the conditional in the present or the conditional perfect in the past. Alright, so first of all I want you to look at the examples. We have the conditional present, right? So we look at the sentence. Als ik vloeiend Nederlands sprak, zou ik niet naar de Nederlandse les gaan. Right? So I'll translate that for you, and that als is if. So if I spoke Dutch fluently, I would not go to Dutch class. That's it. If I spoke Dutch fluently, I would not go to Dutch class. This is the conditional present. Now we're going to take a look at the conditional in the past, the conditional perfect. Als ik vloeiend Nederlands had gesproken, zou ik niet naar de Nederlandse les gegaan zijn. Right? If I hadn't spoken Dutch fluently, I wouldn't have gone to the Dutch class. Alright, so these are 2 kind of conditionals. One is a possibility and the other one is more unrealistic. Don't worry, I'll give you some extra information right now so it becomes clearer. So the first one we'll take a look at is the conditional present. And the conditional present is a possibility. So basically you are stating a condition, but that condition is possible, right? So how do we form this form first of all? Well, the first part of the composed sentence, because it will be a composed sentence, it will be if this happens, then that will happen, alright? So it's if plus tense of the verb, and the tense of the verb should be in the simple past. Alright, we'll take a look at an example to clarify this for you. And then we have the second part of the composed sentence, and then we will use the past of the verb zullen. Zullen we also use to make the future. If you don't know how to make the future in Dutch, click on the following link and you will have some more information on how to form the future in Dutch. But we use the past of zullen, and that would be zou in the singular and zouden in the plural, and then our main verb, we will put it in the infinitive. If all of this sounds very grammatical to you, don't worry, I'll give you an example and it'll become clearer. Now the example is, als ik de loterij won, zou ik veel reizen. If I won the lottery, I would travel a lot. Alright, so this is a condition, starts with if, and then basically if this happened, then this would occur. So if I won the lottery, it's a possibility, maybe a difficult one, but it's a possibility. I would travel a lot. And this would be our conditional present. As you can see, winnen is our verb. We put it in the simple past, won in the singular, it's an irregular verb. And then if you look at our second part of the sentence, we start with zou, that would be the translation of would, and reizen would be our infinitive, which we placed at the end. So this is how we form the conditional present. Remember, this is possible, right? Possible or probable. Now we're going to take a look at the conditional in the past, the conditional perfect. Right, first of all, I want to tell you there's different ways to form the conditional perfect in Dutch, but I will show you the standard one, the most used one. Alright, now the conditional perfect is unrealistic. The first one, the present, was possible. This one is irrealistic. What does that mean? Don't worry, I'll explain to you all of it in a bit. All right. So the first part of the composed sentence will be als, again, if, plus the tense of the verb should be in the past perfect. All right. The past perfect, that is a composed time. I'll show that time to you right now so you have an idea what I'm talking about. And then the second part of the composed sentence, again, will be used with the past of zullen. It will be zou and zouden plus the perfectum. If you don't remember what the perfectum is, don't worry, click on the following link and you'll find a video which explains how to form and when to use the perfectum in Dutch. But I think the example will make it clearer for you guys. So we've got the example, and the example is: als ik de loterij had gewonnen, zou ik veel gereisd hebben. Right? The translation is: if I had won the lottery, I would have traveled a lot. And it basically says that if I had won the lottery's passed, you haven't won it. That's why you say, if I had won the lottery, so it's irrealistic, I would have traveled a lot. So you're speaking basically from an imagination point of view. And this is the conditional perfect in the past. Als ik de loterij had gewonnen, so what would our past perfect be? That would be had, okay, the past of the verb hebben, and then gewonnen would be our past participle, which we also use in the present perfect. Ik heb gewonnen, in this case it's the past perfect, ik had gewonnen. Then we look at the second part of our sentence. Again, we have zou, past of the verb zullen, and then gereisd hebben. Gereisd hebben would be the present perfect or the perfectum of reizen. Ik heb gereisd. Right? So that is how we form it. This one is a little bit more difficult, not used that much, but it's always useful to know because maybe one day it'll come in handy. Alright, we'll go to the next one. Alright, then zou and zouden can be used when you want to say supposed or supposed to be. Right? So when you want to imply expectations or plans in your statement, you can use zou, zouden as follows. And the structure would be, we'll take a look at some examples to make it clearer for you. The structure would be zou and zouden again, plus the infinitive. Take a look at the examples. Hij zou in juni verhuizen. He's supposed to move in June. Right? Hij zou tot in februari in Brussel blijven. He is supposed to stay in Brussels until February. Ze zouden vanmiddag op tijd komen. They are or they were supposed to come on time this afternoon. Alright? So don't forget to separate also your verbal group. Zou, beginning next to your subject, your infinitive of your main verb, you will place it at the end. So this zou plus infinitive means supposed or supposed to be. We'll go and take a look at the next one, and zou and zouden can also be used as a polite form. Alright, so basically, mostly when you have a request, but you don't want to sound too direct, or you want to be rather polite, you can use zou or zouden in order to make that request. Why? Because you soften it a little bit. It sounds less direct and it sounds more polite. So the structure, as you can see, take a look at the different colors also. Zou and zouden. Then there would be your modal verb, and then there would be your infinitive. Modal verbs, think about the verbs like zullen, kunnen, mogen, moeten, and willen. Right? These 5 are modal verbs. Let's take a look at the examples. Let's clarify the theory. Examples. Zou je het raam even willen openmaken? Okay? Would you be as kind, because that's actually what it means, would you be as kind as to open the window? Right? So zou would be would, or would you be as kind? Willen, want, that would be your modal verb, and openmaken, to open, that would be your infinitive. Zou je me deze formule kunnen uitleggen? Would you be as kind as to explain me this formula? So, zou would be would, kunnen, your modal verb, can, and then uitleggen would be to explain, right? And then, zou je de radio wat zachter kunnen zetten? Would you be as kind to put down the volume of the radio? Zou again, would, kunnen, auxiliary verb, and zetten would be our main verb. Alright, so basically this zou or zouden conditional form will make your request softer and will make it less direct and also sound more polite. Okay, then we go to the last one, and the last one is zou of zouden plus moeten. In this case, it will be should or ought to. Okay, so when you want to imply should or ought to in your statement, you can use the zou or zouden plus moeten structure. So again, take a look at the colors. So first we'll have zou and zouden, then we'll have moeten, and then we'll have the infinitive, which will be the main verb. Alright, look at the examples. Je zou meer moeten studeren. You should study more. Or you ought to study more. Je zou meer moeten opletten tijdens de les. You should pay more attention during the lesson. Or class. Jullie zouden moeten naar huis gaan. You should go home. You ought to go home. Alright, so this is basically zou, zouden plus moeten, and this would be implying you should or you ought to in English. Okay, so this was a grammar lesson regarding the conditional in Dutch. We saw the conditional present, the perfect, how to sound polite, if you want to imply supposed to, or if you want to imply ought to or should. These are the 5 cases when we use zou and zouden the most. I hope it was useful for you. I hope you learned something from this. Remember to give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you want more content, and let me know in the comments if this was useful for you or not. I want to thank you again for watching. I wish you a great rest of the day, and stay tuned for another episode of Dutch Round 1. Ciao!